welcome to day 9 of Move for Mind. So we're shifting our focus this week into activation and engagement within the body. And we're going to kick this off with a chat about Chaturanga. Now, injuries in the shoulder are the most common type of injury in yoga, and it does often come from doing Chaturanga wrong. I've done it myself. It took me months to recover from it. Didn't enjoy it, not a good time. So I thought we would go through various sun salutations today so we can really work through different variations of Chaturanga. So you can work out what way works best for you, and then moving forward, when anyone ever says Chaturanga to you, you know you've got your options. So we're going to start right into it today, and we're going to work into the wrists first. So coming into a tabletop pose, finding that stable foundation, so rooting the palms into the earth, elbows and shoulders are stacked above the wrists, hips are above the knees. Then turning the right hand back towards the knee. Now you can do both hands at the same time, or one hand at a time, but tucking those back toes under and just easing the hips back. So this is going to feel quite intense, especially if you sit at a desk a lot. Even if you don't, and you're not used to stretching your wrists, this one you're going to feel. Now you shouldn't be on to the fingertips here. You want the whole palm flat onto the floor. So if that means as soon as you start moving back, your palm lifts, don't move back very far. Just so far so that you can keep that palm down. Once you've done one hand, making sure that you've done the other. Either hand might feel different, both sides of the body are different. But seeing if you can send your breath all the way into that wrist crease. Inhaling back into centre. And then the top of the palm is going to come down to the mat. Again, you can do both top palms together or one at a time. But making sure that the top of the hand isn't coming away from the mat, and also that you're not buckling through the elbows, keeping the elbows straight, and then maybe easing the seat back towards the heels. Once you've done one palm, making sure you've done the other. Oh, definitely my dodgy side. And just using your breath to open all up the front of the hand. So if we are going to be doing a lot of Chaturangas, it is important to open up the wrists first to prepare them for what we're about to do. Coming back into centre. Then taking the fingertips off either edge of the mat, so facing the side of the room. And then moving the shoulders from side to side, so distributing the weight, and almost like you're falling off to one side, catching yourself, and then coming back. Using your breath to do so. So shifting your weight from wrist to wrist. Coming back into centre, sitting back onto the heels, maybe just taking hold of one wrist at a time. Giving them a bit of a break from what we've just done. Then interlacing the hands. Inhale, turning the palms up towards the sky as we bring the arms above the head. Inhale to extend skyward. Exhale, sending the palms over towards the right. Inhale to centre. Exhale over to the left. Inhale to centre. Releasing the arms and coming back to that tabletop position. Inhaling, the right arm lifts. Exhale, bringing right fingertips in the gap between the arm and the body as the right shoulder comes to the mat. Right cheek comes to the mat. Maybe just lifting the cheek up to see if you can scooch that shoulder under a little bit further. Then left hand can either stay where it is or reaching left fingertips to the top of the room. Or maybe sending the left hand around the back, taking hold of the inside of the right thigh. Keeping hips square if you do so. Staying with the breath, opening up across the shoulders. Inhale, And on your exhale, releasing that left hand to the mat, pushing into the palm on the inhale as we raise the right arm up, gaze follows fingertips. Exhale, replanting right hand down, finding that tabletop. Inhaling, left hand lifts. Exhale, threading the hand in between, the gap between your arm and your body. Left cheek coming to the mat, left shoulder to the mat, but maybe just lifting the left cheek up as you scooch the left hand under slightly further. Then staying here with the right hand, or maybe reaching the right fingertips to the top of the room. Maybe sending that right hand behind the back, opening up across the shoulder. Using your breath to open the chest, open the shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, placing that right hand back down. Inhale, lifting left hand to the sky, gaze follows fingertips. Exhale, placing hand back down, finding our tabletop. Now we're going to come through our first Chaturanga variation now. So finding your root in your tabletop, finding that stable foundation, palms, fingertips pushing into the mat, almost creating a doming sensation in the upper back. Navel is to your spine. Inhale, dropping the belly, peeling the chest through the arms, gaze lifts, finding your cow pose. Exhale, as you dome back, sending the hips back, finding child's pose. Inhale, tucking toes under, pushing into the hands and finding downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Now as this is our first one of the practice, maybe just pedaling into the feet, taking any sort of intuitive movement that you need here, so maybe coming high onto the balls of the feet, really stretching the tailbone up towards the ceiling before bringing the heels back down towards the ground. So finding what you need in this posture today. And inhaling, coming high onto the balls of the feet, taking a deep bend in the knees, look between palms. And taking as many little steps to the top of the mat as you need, keeping a bend in the knees, taking hold of opposite elbows, and just rocking the body from side to side, keeping the hips stable if you can. Finding our ragdoll, stretching out all around the back body. And coming to that stillness when you're ready. Keeping the arms heavy, extending the arms, and slowly, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, rolling all the way up to find our Tadasana, so your head is heavy, last to lift. Then coming to the top of the mat, if you've moved, bringing feet hips distance apart, or big toes to touch, heels slightly apart, engaging through the legs, thighs engaged, quadriceps engaged. Sending that navel to the spine, growing tall through the spine. Inhaling, shoulders up and away from the ears, spiraling the palms to the front of the room, gazes at a point directly in front of you. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, sweeping both arms up, gaze follows thumbs. Exhale, belly to spine as you hinge and fold over the legs, keeping a soft bend in the knees. Inhale, looking up halfway to lengthen, long, straight spine. Exhale, planting the hands and stepping back, finding your high plank. Exhale, bringing your knees down, finding tabletop. Inhale, dropping the belly, peeling the chest through as the gaze lifts, finding cow. Exhale, sending hips to heels, child's pose. Hips to sky, downward facing dog. And that will work for you as a Chaturanga. Extending the spine. Really feeling that lengthening down the back of the legs. And if the heels are away from the floor, that's fine. Keep a bend in the knees if you need. It will come with time. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, coming high onto the balls of the feet. Deep bend in the knees, look between the palms. Then step as many as you need, or jump or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise, gaze follows thumbs. Exhale, bringing the prayer through the heart space. Tadasana, mountain pose. Adding on now, inhale, sweeping both arms up, gaze lifts to thumbs. Exhale, hinging and folding over the legs, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, planting hands and stepping back to find your high plank. Exhale, bringing the knees down. Now for half Chaturanga, maybe bringing that block in between the hands. Because on our next, so inhale to prepare, really pushing into the hands, finding that doming sensation in the upper back. Exhale, bringing the weight forward first. You're looking towards the top of the mat, bending at the elbows, so the elbows are hugging in towards the rib cage until you meet the block or that halfway point. If you don't have the block here, that's fine. It's just a really good gauge to work out where that halfway point is. Inhale, then either lowering all the way down and peeling the chest through to find your cobra, or coming straight through into that low cobra. Exhale, pushing seat to heels, hips to sky, downward facing dog. So that would be your half Chaturanga. And it is so much more powerful, so much more strength building than just collapsing to the earth. So if a full Chaturanga just feels a bit icky and you don't have that control, come to half Chaturanga. You will build strength so much quicker doing that version. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, high onto the ball of the left foot as you step right foot up in between hands, lower left knee down. Inhale, sweeping arms up, finding our Anjanasana, low lunge. Exhale, bringing hands back down to mat. Stepping back, finding downward facing dog. Inhale, high onto the balls of the feet, rippling forward with the spine coming into high plank. Lowering the knees down, again grabbing that block if you want to get the gauge, otherwise leaving it off. Then really bringing the weight forward first, so you're almost launching from your heels, bending the elbows, tucking them in towards the rib cage. Keep the gaze forward as you find that halfway point, that Chaturanga, that half Chaturanga. Inhale, peeling the chest through, finding your low cobra, or coming all the way down to the ground first. Exhale, pushing seat to heels, hips to sky. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhaling, the left leg lifts. We're doing this one more time. High onto the ball of the right foot, bringing that left knee to the nose, planting left foot in between the thumbs, lowering right knee down. Inhale, sweeping arms up, Anjanasana, low lunge. Exhale, bringing back hands back down to the floor, tucking right toes under, stepping back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale to ripple the body forward, really undulating through the spine, coming to that high plank. Exhale, bringing knees to the ground, grabbing that block if necessary, coming down halfway to find that half Chaturanga. Inhale, peeling through, finding your cobra. Exhale, hips to heels, hips to the sky, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Or coming to a child's pose if you want to take a child's pose at this point. Really rooting through the hands, rooting through the feet, sending that tailbone towards the sky. The eyes of the elbows are turning inwards, shoulders are away from the ears, your head is heavy. And seeing if you can turn this into a bit of a reset, a restabilization within the body. Inhale, high onto the balls of the feet, deep bend in the knees, look between the thumbs. And either hop, step or float to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling, root to rise, gaze follows thumbs. Exhale, bringing the prayer through the heart space. Bringing hands either side of the body to find your Tadasana. Taking that pause, taking that moment to reset the body, finding your roots. We're going to work into our full Chaturanga now, a full Chaturanga option. So inhale, sweeping both arms up, gaze is lifted. Exhale to hinge and fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway up, long lengthen the spine. Exhale, planting the hands and stepping back to find your high plank. So now if either of those other options worked for you, coming down to the knees, take the knees here. Otherwise, coming through that full Chaturanga,
So really engaging through your high plank first. Your belly is to your spine. Your tailbone is tilting down towards the back of the room, towards your heels. Your heels are not down towards the floor. They are active, they are lifted, they are engaged. Pressing in with the hands, really rooting through the hands and the balls of the feet. Your gaze is lifted to the top of the mat. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, bringing the weight forward first, so your shoulders are coming beyond your fingertips. You bend the elbows, coming to that 90-degree angle. Bring the block under the chest if you need. Now your option here is either holding this half plank, or you lower all the way down to the ground. Inhale, coming through your cobra. Other choice, you can come to that 90 degree and you can inhale, turning the toes under, finding your upward facing dog. In our upward facing dog, the tops of the feet are down, the thighs are engaged and lifted away from the floor, shoulders are down away from the ears, and you can either look forward or, if it's okay for the chin, look up. Exhale, rolling over toes, downward facing dog. So there's an awful lot going on in that Chaturanga from the high plank down. And you are, like I said before, you are so much better off taking that knees down option first if that suits you. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling, that right leg lifts. Exhale, stepping right foot up in between the thumbs, coming high onto the ball of the left foot. Inhale, bringing both arms up, finding our crescent lunge. Exhale, sending left hand forward as right hand comes back, finding our twist. Inhale, turning left palm to the sky. As the left hand comes up, the right hand tracks down the back of that left leg. Gaze lifts towards the sky if the balance is there. Inhale. Exhale, bringing both hands down to the mat, stepping back, finding your downward facing dog. Inhaling high onto the balls of the feet, rippling forward with the spine coming to high plank. Again, we're coming through whichever version of Chaturanga worked for you today. So wherever you are, knees down, knees up. Maybe you're coming through that cat pose. No, it was cow. But really stabilising first in your Chaturanga, in your high plank. Knees down or knees up. Finding that engagement in the belly, that doming in the shoulders. Really finding that support, pushing the ground away from you. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, wherever you're going, bringing that weight forward, bending the elbows back to that 90-degree angle. Maybe you come all the way down to the ground, maybe you peel forward, finding that upward facing dog on the inhale. Exhale, rolling over toes, downward facing dog. Nicely done. They're not easy. When you control it, it's not an easy transition, but it builds so much strength and flexibility within the body. There is a reason why we do a ton of them. Just make sure you're doing them safely and make sure you're doing the right version for your body at this time. Inhaling, the left leg lifts. Exhale, bringing left knee to nose, planting left foot in between the palms. Inhale, both arms come up, finding that high crescent. Exhale, taking the twist, left hand back as right hand comes forward. Inhale, that right hand turns skyward as we bring the left hand down the back of the right leg and the right hand goes up. Gaze is lifted. Deep bend into that left knee. Really launching yourself off the back heel of the back foot. Inhale. Exhale, bringing both hands down to the mat. Stepping left foot back to meet right. And coming through whichever version of Chaturanga works for you. I'm coming to my knees for this one. So wherever you are in your high plank or plank with the knees down, really engaging through the hands, pushing the hands down. Elbows and shoulders are stacked directly above the wrists. You almost have a doming sensation in your upper back. Your navel is to your spine is long. You're looking towards the top of your mat. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, bringing the body weight forward, gaze to the top of the mat. Bending the elbows directly back in line with the body, hugging them in towards the rib cage. Inhale, finding your cobra or your upward facing dog. Exhale, pushing back into child's pose or downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Finding your breath, finding your space within this pose. I think we Chataranga'd out now. I am Chataranga'd out. Now there are different variations and different ways of doing this, but it is something I'd normally teach in a 2-hour workshop, so this is a bit of a taster of what we can do with Chatarangas. But really just making sure you're choosing a way that you have control, you have stability, you have engagement and you have activation within your body. You are not just collapsing down to the ground. That way you're going to hurt yourself, and you're just not going to build anything. That's not doing anything. Inhale, coming high onto the balls of the feet. Deep bend in the knees. And stepping through. Bringing the bum down. I really thumped down that time. Coming into an easy seated position. Planting the feet. And then either just coming down to lying on the ground, whatever way works for you, or maybe starting to activate and use some of that control, bringing the arms up, bringing the navel to the spine and seeing if you can land each vertebrae on the ground at a time until you're lying all the way down, hugging knees into the chest, maybe taking a few rocks from side to side. And then extending that left leg along on the mat as we hug the right knee in. Then crossing the right knee across the chest as the right hand comes out to the side. Taking a really nice twist here. Left knee coming towards the ground, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make it. Right shoulder on the mat if you can keep it grounded. Inhale. Exhale, coming back into centre. Hugging left knee into the chest as that right leg goes long along the mat. And then just crossing the left knee over the chest as gaze goes out over left fingertips. And both shoulders grounded. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Coming back into centre. And just taking any other movements that you might need today. So if you do want to take a happy baby by all means. And then making your way into your Shavasana, your place of comfort, your place of ease. If your back is a bit twingy, bringing the soles of the feet down on the mat. Otherwise keeping your legs long. Palms spiraling up towards the ceiling. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, let, out through the mouth, go. So if you can, just spending as much time here as you have. Otherwise I'll leave you here. But thank you for your energy, for your practice today. I hope that was helpful and that it gives you a bit more indication of where you are with your Chaturanga. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Otherwise I thank you for your practice, I thank you for your energy, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.